Real loyal.
I'm gonna skip ahead past most steps like doing
Maybe a few. It's more I spend a lot of time like trying to like pick out my outfit because I'm like really into clothes. I'm gonna be the best dressed rapper out in the game. So you know, I got my I'm so self-conscious. That's why you always see me with at least one of my watches. Rollies and Porsches that drove me crazy. I can't even pronounce nothing. Pass that for Stacy. Then I spent $400 on this. Just to be like, nigga, you ain't up on this. And I can't even go to the grocery store without some shoes that's clean and a shirt with a team. It seems we live in the American dream, but the people highest up got the lowest self-esteem. The prettiest people do the ugliest things. For the road to riches and diamond rings. We shine because they hate us, floss because they degrade us. We trying to buy back our 40 acres. And for that paper look how low we astute. Even when I'm in my Benz, I'm still a nigga in a coupe. I promise. She's so self-conscious. She has no idea what she's doing in college. That major that she majored in don't make no money. Told me she majored in TV. But she won't drop out. Her parents will look at her funny. Nah, tell me that ain't insecure. The concept of school seems so secure. Sophomore 3 years, ain't picked a career. She said, fuck it, I'll just stay down here and do hair, cause that's enough money to buy her a few pairs of new airs, cause her baby daddy don't really care. She's so precious, with the peer pressure, couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis. She had hair so long that it looked like weave, and she cut it all off, and she looked like Eve. And she be dealing with some issues that you can't believe. Single black female addicted to retail. I said, fuck the police, that's how I treat them. We bought our way out of jail, but we can't buy freedom. See, we buy a lot of clothes, but we don't really need them. Things we buy to cover up what's inside, cause they made us hate ourselves and love their wealth. That's why shorty's hollering, where the ball is at? Drug dealer buy Jordan, crack here buy crack, and the white man get paid off for all of that.
So, yeah. So, those are the two examples I wanted to bring. But I think we're going to be getting into something a bit different so far as what we wanted to do with the hands-on portion of this, which was to focus more on, rather than kind of political tirades, which I love, which is probably why I picked those two, but instead like a personal narrative, which is like a big thing in, I guess, I mean, do you want to stop for a second and talk about those?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I just, it's cool. Yeah, did you have any, any questions about those, or?
I've actually seen them both before. So.
You saw them both before? Yeah, I mean, they were kind of interesting, but it kind of made sense of what I said before about there being like a marriage
from the different directions, but yet kind of meeting in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if Kanye West had did that on a beat, it would be much more structured and much more closer together.
And did he put it to? Because he put it. I heard it like more to music.
The music,
yeah. Yeah, it's the song "All Falls Down."
Yeah, yeah.
I should make that note. Yeah, so like, it'll be good to play that afterwards.
Yeah. So like if you see, but then the spoken word, he was relaxed with it, more open with it, more.
Yeah, it looked totally different.
Yeah, it's totally different. So I mean, that's the difference between the two. I think but they're both very, very similar, and you come from the same type of process when you're writing, you know what I mean? Spoken word and poetry, and I think a lot of times, it's good for youth and young people in general is to understand that they're married, you know what I mean? And you come from the same type of center when you're writing, rhymes as opposed to poetry. You know what I mean? That's a very important point. Because a lot of cats write rhymes, they don't know, is it poetry or, I don't know. So, it kind of takes it up another notch. So that's basically what I want to say.
Yeah. So, what was it? With the, I mean, the exercise I wanted to, you know, just, I guess, show you is the one that I'd come up with was, what we'll do is like, kind of write down 10 things you did this year and 10 things you did 10 years ago. And then we're going to take like a look at a narrative poem that kind of is like a journey from like the past to now, and then working on writing our own kind of like narratives of how you got from then to now. And also with the focus that like it doesn't have to be truthful, it can twist the facts a lot, you can embellish, it could be like a tall tale, it could be more of a mythology. And it's just about why you changed this or that, and like what kind of point are you making, what kind of transformation are you highlighting.
Which happens a lot, I think, in rap music, you know what I mean, is that there's a lot of myths, mythologies, you know what I mean, and like people take them like literally, take them like these stories are for real. When in reality, they're myths or made up stories, or it's the writer or it's the artist living around someone. And so they take someone and they write a story about dude down the block that was doing such and such, and they become that person. You know, Tupac actually said that personally. That's like stuff he did, you know. Ice Cube did that. I mean, Ice Cube grew up in like a middle class background. He was in college when he was about to tour for NWA. He had to leave Arizona State University to go tour with the first group he was in called NWA. So Ice Cube never really did the things he said, but he was surrounded. He's such a great artist, as we all see. I mean, he does films, he's written films, he's not only does he rhyme and make music, I mean, he's done other things that he was able to go into other people's lifestyle and write from their perspective. And he did it so well that we think, you know, it's like, yo, that's Ice Cube, you know what I mean? So, and all writers have done that since the dawn of time. I mean, name me a writer that hasn't, you know, that doesn't, you know, pick that. So, being a myth, you know, that's a very, very important element of rap music is the mythology. It's just now that people think it's real, you know. If Rick Ross says what he did, then it gotta be real. In reality, they shouldn't be lambasted because they're doing some myths or mythology to their music.
So like if an author wrote a novel and they were like, well, the main character's you. And
Yeah.
No.
No.
But, yeah.
Not necessarily doesn't have to be me. I mean, the main character is my aunt such and such.
Right.
Or that guy down the street that I kind of made up a story about. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
you know.
it's also a thing to me that's very much like a lot of people coming from outside of rap, or maybe like younger people who don't understand it that much yet, don't understand that kind of like distance that's understood. Like, even though Rick Ross will like portray this character of like a wildly successful drug dealer turned rapper, like, you know, people like term, I don't know, hip hop heads or whatever, it's pretty much common knowledge now that he was like a corrections officer and like wasn't a multi-million-dollar making drug lord. So like, it's like that's understood, that it is this myth that he's presenting. And if anything, I think the most important thing is about how whatever story you tell just highlights what you think is important. That like Rick Ross is telling a story that highlights the importance of like, you know, this kind of like
drug
lording, like kind of like, I don't know, where it's like it's about having things and material, kind of like it's placing an importance on this rags to riches by any means story. Where just like, you know, any other kind of story, a lot of times like Ice Cube was telling stories of people from like the bottom because he wanted to be a voice for a lot of desperation that was going on, and a lot of struggle that was happening that he felt like needed to be told more. So, you know, to me that's like the important thing. It's just like whatever you tell highlights what you feel like is important to express. So, yeah, I mean, I wonder, do you think we should do this exercise right now, or I could just tell you about it?
It's up to her.
Yeah.